So let's start today with the story. Once upon a time, some very smart people, because they wear suits so they must be smart, explained how Elon Musk doesn't understand marketing or branding, and upon the acquisition of X, it would be a disaster because he certainly doesn't understand social media or people. And they were obviously right because they wear suits. Their opinion is infallible. Wait, what are we looking at here on screen? An album cover featuring, what do you know, a Cybertruck. Tesla obviously must have paid millions of dollars to this artist to feature a Cybertruck on their new album cover, right? Wrong. For those who don't know, rapper DaBaby, who has over 35 million monthly listeners, just released a new album, and that's the cover. Tesla didn't pay anything for this. It's organic. Rapper Meek Mill also released a new song last night called Cybertruck. As Sawyer Merritt points out here, Cybertruck is currently the most popular vehicle in hip-hop culture and, in fact, on the fucking planet. Of course, I definitely didn't see this coming or say this was going to happen years ago, except I did over and over and over. Yes, I'm going to pat myself on the back again. I called it. So obvious. Last month, Nick posted this on X, a list of some of the high-profile celebrities, athletes, musicians, and so on, who happen to not only just own a Cybertruck, but be flexing it at every opportunity. Jay-Z, Justin Bieber, Shaq, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian, Rick Ross, Travis Scott, Bad Bunny, Lil Baby, Katy Perry, 2 Chainz, Big Sean, Lady Gaga, Pharrell Williams, Steve Aoki. I'll cut to the chase on screen. We can see a number of these very proud Cybertruck owners. Now, you'll note, by the way, many of these folks have specifically done a dedicated photo shoot, none paid by Tesla. Others, Lady Gaga here, finding excuses to just happen to need to go and buy some coffee, as opposed to get it delivered, to be seen in one's Cybertruck. Retired adult film star Kim Kardashian recently either getting a brand new Cybertruck or doing this to her existing vehicle. And again, you know how much she gets paid to post once on Instagram by brands? Or if she happens to actually love the product so much, she'll just post this stuff for free. Clearly, it's a toss-up now as to which is the A-list celebrity, the vehicle or Miss Kardashian. And as for this Cybertruck wrap that recently appeared online, as I've posted on X, I can neither confirm nor deny the rumours. Let's move on. Wait, is this Orange Man bad again? Why would he be appearing on a channel almost exclusively about Tesla and Musk-related enterprises again?
I'll lead the world in space. Remember, I did Space Force. I did that. I rebuilt the military. I did a lot. But we have Space Force, first time in 79 years, since Air Force. First time, think of it, Space Force, and now we're leading in space over Russia and China. They were killing us when I took over, and now we're leading. But military, we're going to reach, and it's my plan. I'll talk to Elon. Elon, get those rocket ships going, because we want to reach Mars before the end of my term. We want to do it, and we want...
This is epic. Will SpaceX be successful? Time will tell. I'm certainly going to try. But to have the future president of the United States, barring any late mail arriving, during the counting process, publicly declare intent for SpaceX, a private company, obviously anyone, but who else has got to sort of get in there, to get to Mars during the next 4-ish years. This is going to be amazing for American innovation. Imagine the amount of support behind SpaceX. And the reason that this is being brought up in today's video is because of the current weaponization of different branches of government in the United States to hinder and slow Musk-related companies. The contrast could not be starker. More on that in a moment.
We want to have also great military protection in space, because that's where it's going to be at. We'll lead the world in...
By the way, before we get to this next very recent clip, it's kind of funny that Trump is now speaking positively about Elon Musk and or his companies at a ratio of about 100 to 1 versus the number of interviews Kamala Harris has been doing, while simultaneously trying to be elected as the next president. It's kind of crazy.
We were getting lapped in space by China and by Russia. And now we are the leader in space. And I have to tell you, Elon is doing a fantastic job. He's my friend. He endorsed me for president, so strongly. It was incredible. But he is doing an amazing job with respect to space. When you look up, I think somebody said he sends 90% of the rockets sent up throughout the world are his. And you got to hand it to him. He's something.
Now, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I wish I didn't need to be emphasizing the fact that Musk is being publicly and repeatedly praised for the incredible innovation and progress carrying the whole space industry by a presidential candidate. But the open, aggressive hostility toward Musk from the current Biden administration and most of the hate stream media means it's something that just should be par for the course. Accurately praising somebody who's doing an incredible amount of innovation is so rare and novel that it's worth discussing. And now that I've set this video up, a long-winded intro, but it's important. We've seen Orange Man bad. declaring an intent to get to Mars during his presidency. Shout out to Elon. Accurately giving credit to SpaceX for carrying the launch industry. I just briefly wanted to remind you guys what this fuckstick, who, look, honestly, he doesn't know what he's saying. He didn't know what he was saying. He's just a puppet. So don't hate the puppet, hate the machine behind the puppet. But here's what the people who control Biden had Biden say just after Musk acquired Twitter, knowing that a free speech advocate acquiring a social media platform that they'd previously colluded with to censor US and global citizens. By the way, what laptop? Would unfortunately be a little bit of a spanner in the works, because if people can freely share their thoughts, opinions and ideas, and the owner of the platform is very pro free speech, as opposed to, yes, daddy, please government, tell us who we need to censor, whose account do we need to ban, yes, daddy, we'll do it. That may be an impediment to the plans of those who seek to control the one-true narrative, the machine. So let's see what this puppet was made to say following Musk's acquisition of Twitter, now X. And then let's see if any actions subsequent to these comments align with what was said.
I think that Elon Musk's cooperation and/or technical relationships with other countries is worthy of being looked at. Whether or not he is doing anything inappropriate, I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting that it's worth being looked at. But that's all I'll say. There's a lot of ways.
That last comment, deeply unsettling. Now, in case there's any potatoes watching, when the puppet here is saying worthy of being looked at and talking about relationships with foreign entities, this is just code word for we're going to fuck the guy as hard as we can, as many ways as we possibly can. And when Biden lets slip there's many ways in response to a question from a reporter, how exactly are you going to do that? Many ways includes, well, we're about to see some of those many ways exposed by the boys on the All In podcast.
Previously, yeah, it's waste, fraud, and abuse. It's the same thing that's happening with rural internet. Do you see that
which
story?
is paradoxically, this is our next story. So let's go for it. In related news of our government burning our money, rural broadband and EV charging, $42 billion and $7.5 billion, almost $50 billion combined. Let's just go over these two programs real quickly here. Both were part of the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill in 2021. $42 billion carved out to provide high-speed internet to people living on farms in rural locations. $7.5 billion carved out to build 500,000 EV chargers over 10 years. It's been 1,000 days since the bill was passed, so let's check on the progress. 0 people have been connected, according to FCC Commissioner Brendan Carr. And 8 EV chargers have been built as of May, according to Auto Week magazine. What's even crazier, private industry already solved these problems. United Airlines just announced they're putting Starlink on 1,000 of their planes, and they're going to offer it for free. And Starlink now has 2,500 planes under contract with a bunch of other airlines. And in the second half of 2023 alone, the private sector built over 1,000 charging stations in the US. These are two problems that have already been solved, Sachs. Why are we burning $50 billion in the future with on things that have already been solved? We've solved for this. I own electric cars. I have Starlink.
You know the answer. You know the answer. Say the answer, Jason.
Corruption.
No, come on, Jason.
Incompetence.
Really?
Graft.
Keep going.
I mean, you tell me. Corruption, graft, buying votes from your constituents?
They haven't delivered any of it.
Incompetence, yes.
Well, there's a couple of things going on here. So one is typical government waste, fraud, and abuse, where they've allocated $42 billion for rural internet, haven't hooked anyone up, and we could spend a fraction of that giving people Starlink and allowing the private sector to do its job.
Now, David Sachs is right. Roughly speaking, each household could have been connected to Starlink for around $1,300. Keep in mind, you've got to pay for the terminal, so there are some costs there, right? $1,300 a household. Now, by the way, none have been connected via anything. Now they're looking at more than $100,000 per household. Starlink no longer allowed at all to be involved in this. Now, why would that be? Government corruption, Elon bad in many ways. Shout out to Biden. This is an utter insane waste of money. And it's brazenly corrupt. The only reason that Starlink isn't providing this internet service to rural Americans who need to be connected is because Elon bad. Oh, by the way, I do just want to remind people, Kamala Harris, so she's had 3 key roles within the Biden administration that were very publicly announced. 1, border czar, as the media called her. She was responsible for dealing with the many, many, many millions of illegal immigrants flooding into the United States. 2, she was responsible for this rural internet program. I'm not kidding, by the way. You can go watch the video, the press announcement, where Biden is literally telling the world that Kamala Harris is put in charge of this project. And 3, the AI czar, words to that effect. So obviously what I'm saying is flawless track record. She'd be an amazing president. Sure, definitely go vote Kamala 2024.
So-
Why even pay for it, Sachs? Why are we paying for it if it's available for $100?
That's the baseline, but it's worse than that, because on top of the waste, fraud, and abuse and the fact that the government is grossly incompetent and inefficient, you also have naked political retaliation going on here.
That's the answer.
Yeah, exactly. And Brendan Carr, who's an FCC commissioner, pointed this out. He said that in 2023, the FCC canceled or revoked an $885 million contract with the company by claiming Starlink is not capable of providing high-speed internet. Then a year later, of course, that was a lie. And then a year later, the FCC is now claiming that Starlink provides so much high-speed internet that the word monopoly should be tossed out.
Yeah.
So look, this is just
Which
pure,
is it?
It's pure naked retaliation. Yeah. The Biden-Harris administration doesn't want to admit that Elon has the best solution for rural internet, just like they couldn't admit he made the best electric cars. Remember when they did that EV summit and they didn't invite him? That 100%. Was just nakedly political because he's not on their team. Right. So look, I mean, the Biden-Harris administration, it's blue no matter who. And Elon has drifted from being sort of independent and non-aligned
he was blue. He was blue.
Exactly.
Let's call it what it is. I mean,
now
he voted for Hillary and Obama, he said.
He's no longer team blue, and so they're punishing him for this.
Yeah.
Well, and it's costing taxpayers a huge amount of money. I think this is one of the worst decisions by the current administration. And if Trump gets in there, he should reverse it on day one.
Well, we need to investigate. I mean, I think how we got to the point of wasting $50 billion, that requires an investigation, I think. Chamath, your thoughts?
One comment is, and this is so sad, but I'm so desensitized by the amount of waste that I don't know whether 50 billion is a lot or a little anymore when it comes to the United States government. Isn't that sad? Like, because now everything I hear is in hundreds of billions and trillions, but 50 billion is an enormous amount of money, right?
Well, that's such a good point. And I remember, back in the day, 60 Minutes used to do these segments on waste, fraud, and abuse at the Pentagon, different parts of the government. $42 billion just spent on something that really taxpayers could have for free or without the government getting involved. And, $42 billion that was lining someone's pocket when the service doesn't even work. That would have been a scandal. And the media would have covered it. But the media doesn't even cover it these days. And again, it's because the media has become so tribal that it's better dead than red and blue no matter who. And so because the media would have to admit that Elon's already solved this problem, they just can't go there. They won't even cover this. And so we have no accountability. There's no accountability on the government.
If I had to just take a step back and just generalize going forward, do we want to live in the kind of administrative state where they will pick people that they dislike based on totally random criteria, a tweet, a meme, a post, and then all of a sudden punish a bunch of the rest of us because of that? They're punishing all of America because they collect our taxes to waste on it. And then they punish the people that they actually say they're going to uplift by not delivering what they promised. And if you take Elon out of it for a second, the problem was when we crossed the chasm and did it with the first guy, him. But the reality is there's only one of him and then there's a lot of the rest of us. And what will happen is people would just get added to this list of folks that certain nameless, faceless people in the administrative state dislike. And what happens is the country slows down and the country wastes money and the country pilfers it away. And that has to stop. And so what really bothers me about these things is A, I don't know how to undesensitize myself to the fact that all of a sudden now, because of just all of this sloppy waste, I didn't react as much as I should have to just $50 billion being flushed down the toilet on these two projects. And then two, Jason, your point, it is a solved problem that you can give incredibly cheaply. And the fact that it's not left to private enterprise to solve this, and instead it's just brazen partisanship combined with retaliation, combined with incompetence.
And
That's
buying
really bad.
votes by giving this money to other vendors who are giving them donations.
And just to give the Democrats their due, what happens if then Trump does the same thing for a solution that you support and you need and you think should be everywhere? The point is, we don't want any of this stuff under any administration. And
It's abhorrent.
And the minute that one administration breaks the seal and makes it acceptable, it becomes part of the water table. And that's the real problem. We broke the seal on this crazy multi-trillion dollar spending, and it has just never stopped since then.
And, the incentives really matter. If you look at a private company, if you were at Klarna, and to our previous story, and you go to the boss and say, I know how to get rid of this wasteful spending we're doing here. We can get rid of all tier 1 calls with AI and save that money. You get a promotion. If you're in the government, you can't. If you're a politician and you cut this program, your constituents get upset, you don't have that stuff being built in your district, there's a perverse incentive that you can't buy the votes, which is why these folks are constantly trying to buy votes. And
the good news is, I really applaud the people that have the courage to show this stuff on X, to tweet this stuff out so that the rest of us know about it, and the person that talked about the NYC thing. But then the next step has to happen, which is that we all need to decide that this stuff needs to stop.
Exactly.
Otherwise, it's going to bankrupt our country.
And we have to celebrate it. That's the key. If we can celebrate people saving money again, like Millet is getting a lot of credit, and that's up to us, leadership in podcasting or the media or influential people who have followings. If you point out, hey, this is a waste, go save this money, and somebody does save the money, well, why don't we start celebrating people saving the money and doing the right thing here? Because this is our children's future.
Is it true that Kamala was the broadband czar?
Yes, Chamath, it was. Someone say receipts. President Biden taps Kamala Harris to lead effort to close digital divide. The vice president will lead, I'm going to say that again, the vice president will lead Biden's effort to connect every American to broadband, signaling the issue as a major priority for the White House. Such a major priority that 3 years later, zero households have been connected. Zero. Geez, I'd hate to see what something that isn't a priority looks like if a major priority has played out this poorly. By the way, I got more receipts. 2021, May. Harris's broadband push could be political windfall or pitfall. And another one. Vice President Kamala Harris will oversee administration's broadband goals. Biden has assigned Vice President Kamala Harris with a broadband portfolio. What an extremely competent vice president. Did flawlessly when put in charge of the border crisis. Has connected every single rural household to she hasn't. What a useless piece of shit. Back to the pod.
Was responsible for this thing?
I mean, who knows? It's just...
No, because I saw it. I saw that a bunch of senators wrote a letter to her and they claimed that she was the broadband czar, but I don't know if that's true or not true.
Well, as I've just shown, it's abso-fucking-lutely true. This useless sack of shit was put in charge of this broadband project. The receipts are everywhere. You can't memory hold that. You guys can independently fact check it. This was her responsibility. She was leading this effort. The border, broadband, and then, of course, AI.
And whether she was
remember she was the AI czar. I mean, the administration did put her nominally in charge of various technology initiatives.
Here's an idea. Save money.
Awesome.
Get the best solution at the lowest price and then reevaluate that as you go. And I just want to point out this is a subtle point, but Elon also open sourced his patents for the superchargers and let anybody do them. And he opened up the superchargers to other vehicles, which he didn't have to do. And when they gave him a loan back in the Solyndra days and the Fisker days, remember they gave these incentives in the form of loans? He's the only guy who paid it back. Everybody else failed. So now you're punishing the guy who actually built the infrastructure for both of these projects. So the reward for actually doing the right thing, which Starlink did, SpaceX did, and Tesla did, is to be punished. And then you're giving a leg up to somebody else who's building these chargers. Who's more qualified to build these chargers at scale? Or a satellite network at scale? The person who's already done it. He's already done it.
I do worry that there's a growing version of the Elon derangement syndrome that's also kind of like festering.
Yeah.
Chamath just nailed it. He's 1,000% right here. TDS and EDS are both real afflictions. Both entirely, by the way, engineered, fomented, and spread by the hate-stream media who hate you and hate humanity. Were there no hate-stream media, no centralized media, no legacy media outlets, there would be no TDS, there would be no EDS, because these propagandist organizations would not be updating the software in the minds of NPCs to believe things, to think things, and to feel things about people. Instead, every human on Earth would need to form their own opinions, as opposed to having them spoon-fed. The only people suffering from EDS, Elon derangement syndrome, are NPCs who are susceptible to being programmed by the fake news. Sad, but true.
For sure.
Which just stops people from thinking rationally.
Enough on this particular topic. Just wanted to wrap, reminding you guys that Orange Man Bad and Elon Bad will be joining forces to address the very issue we've just heard about, government waste and inefficiency. And you better fucking believe the dead weight within the US government, the businesses and corporations, the political donors currently essentially being paid under the table, telecommunications companies supposedly connecting rural Americans to broadband when Starlink should have been doing it for a fraction of the cost, the third-rate electric vehicle charging providers that aren't Tesla, they're all going to be real fucking mad and feel very threatened by the Government Efficiency Commission that will be led by none other than Elon Musk. So as I've said before, bro, if you thought Musk was taking arrows now, just you fucking wait until he's put in charge of a Government Efficiency Commission and the entire corrupt machine starts to panic because their grift is about to end.
Fourth, at the suggestion of Elon Musk, who has given me his complete and total endorsement. That's nice. Smart guy. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. It's very, very much appreciated. I will create a Government Efficiency Commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. We need to do it. Can't go on the way we are now. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force. Be interesting. If he has the time, that'd be a good one to do it.
You know what? I think Tampon Tim, Kamala Harris's very radical running mate, summed it up perfectly in his speech overnight.
We can't afford 4 more years of this.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Tim. Weird that he said the quiet part out loud. Want more content? Early access? Bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, it has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR or I can keep going. There's plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, These are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. Just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1. If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend, seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back. So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game has improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read in this video.